Bonjour everyone, welcome to another episode, another video. Today I am going to do a little episode on pullbacks. So pullbacks I would have in my collection. So these will be a majority of Kinsmart, Maisto, some Welly as well potentially. Maybe another brand as well, but all in all, that's pretty much the major players here that I have in my collection. Something that I really do like to collect in view of the fact that these are really good bang for the buck. If we're talking about amount of detail versus the actual price point, you know, it's not going to be an artisan quality model, but in views of the scale is going to vary between 132 scale and 143 scale. There is a really decent amount of detailing that can be added to these vehicles without being prohibitive on cost because of complications linked to a smaller scale. So without further ado, to this little intro, let's get started. Got quite a few models to show you today. So first one we're going to start with is this one here. So this is a Kinsmart Volkswagen New Beetle RSI. So what is a New Beetle RSI? Well, it's pretty straightforward. New Beetle RSI is basically a New Beetle with the 4Motion Haldex all-wheel drive and a 24-valve 2.8 liter VR6 engine, which would have been present in the Golf, in the Jetta, the Passat, so on and so forth. So this is a vehicle that was produced in limited numbers by Volkswagen. You can see here via the bodywork that we got wide arches. We've got that big spoiler on the back, kind of like a GT3 spoiler. Twin exit exhaust, multi-spoke wheels that seem a little bit small versus the scale of the rest of the car. And since it is a larger scale, we do have opening doors. We've got some red bucket seats, black dash with some nice details as well. Some nice silver detailing in there. A few gauges. Yeah, really nice car. And pullback, so yeah, a little bit of pullback action there. So it's been pretty well. All right. So next up, let's stay in the Volkswagen Auto Group, VAG for short, which is not necessarily, if you guys are on social media, a tag that I'd suggest using on Instagram example. It won't get flagged, but it won't lead to anything because it could mean something else. I don't think I'll need to elaborate too much on that. But all jokes aside, here's model number 2. So we've got here a Porsche 911 997 GT3 RS. Put this a little bit further. So GT3 RS. So this was actually a thrift store find. Came in a bag of donated die-cast vehicles. Wasn't necessarily the initial reason why I bought it, because it was kind of hard to see the condition it was in on the get-go, but upon further scrutiny, was actually in fairly good condition. I mean, I've got a few little tiny imperfections on the paint here on the roof, but besides that, in views of the fact that, you know, we're talking about plastic side mirrors and plastic wing, there's no scratches on your regular, well, what you'd regularly see. Detail I really like about this, apologies there are some a little bit of scratches on the back glass as well, slight scratches. Full roll cage in the accent color of orange, the dark gray, again, opening doors, not a whole lot to see there. But, you know, we've got bucket seats, steering and everything like that, but not a huge amount of detail. This one is also a Kinsmart. Sorry for the glue residue there. These unfortunately do come with a big barcode sticker that will in transport get very, very, very adhesive towards the base, and it's hit or miss when removing it if it'll come off clean or not. Normally a little bit of WD-40 or even some lesser aggressive like a Jigaloo or a Gugon or whatnot. That'll take care of it normally. But yeah, so a nice little Porsche. These are, by the way, individually scaled. I didn't go through the scales here. I believe this is 136. Yeah, 136. And this one's a little bit larger, 134, no, 132. So the new Beetle here is actually going to be the larger scale one. And it's pretty apparent when you look at the Porsche next to it. It's definitely a Beetle. It's not as big as a Porsche in real life. Third one I'm going to show off to you here is probably going to look extremely similar, but it is not the same. So we're talking about a Porsche 997, but this is a GT2. So GT2, big difference with the GT3 is the fact that this has an uprated version of the twin turbo flat 6 as opposed to a highly developed naturally aspirated version in the GT3. So GT2 RS will also give you a lot of carbon tidbits on the body. You can see the nice carbon pattern on the frunk there. Really cool Porsche logo. Obviously all these have lens headlights, rubber tires and whatnot, and here's a little pic there of those stickers. So you got one sticker underneath, the one that's the real culprit. It's going to be for the international SKU and everything like that, shipping info. And the other one, right there, a little cat hair. Other one here will be the actual distributor. In this case, it's distributed in the US for North America. I'll be stuck on top of it. So, yeah, I left one of these on just so you could see. So again, Kinsmart, Kintoy, 136 scale GT2 RS. Really cool car. Again, you've got oh my, little fur balls going on here. Here we go. You've got black interior. This one does not have the roll cage. But I mean, even the GT2 RS, it's a little bit less track focused than the GT3 RS, which is really like a track special. This one's going to be like a street track type car. A little bit less track oriented, but as you can see, the details are really decent on this. Nice guards red. Very cool car. Let's see. We'll continue on with, oh yeah, something a little bit different here. This is actually my most recent pullback pickup. I was kind of intrigued when I saw it. So this is a 143 scale Mercedes Sprinter transport van. Here's your base. Again, Kinsmart. Oh, it's actually 148 scale. Sorry about that. I read 143. Yeah, and this one is also very cool. You've got a lot of opening features here. As you can see, lens headlights, opening doors, nicely detailed grille. Again, these are all plastic base metal body. And one of the features I really like for this one, and I know these are tough doors to open, but you do get rear opening door, rear opening doors, and you got some packages in there, which I find kind of cool. Yeah, let's just say that the one of the two doors does have a little bit, I believe, an adjustment issue or something like that, and it's kind of hard to close. And you have to close the left side first, because as with the vehicle, that rear little Mercedes emblem actually is, let's see, can you see here? Not really, but yeah, the Mercedes emblem serves as the lock to the driver's side rear door. So there you go. Really cool model, well executed, nice wheels, all blacked out. Cool details in the front cabin there with the 3 front seats side by side. Not a lot of dash details, but well, it presents really well, basically, this model. So there you go, 148 scale. So I stand corrected. I was sure I read 143. It seemed a little bit small compared to other 143 cars I had. Well, more or less, actually. But yeah, so again, we are going to stay in the European cars, but we are not only going to change countries of origin, but we are also going to change completely the period of release for the next vehicle I am about to show you. So this is pretty much a timeless design. It's going to be definitely a staple of British motoring. Talking about the Aston Martin DB5. I don't think this car needs much of an introduction, as it was a movie star in multiple James Bond movies, from very old ones all the way, Sean Connery era, all the way up to well, the Daniel Craig era. So very nice model, nice burgundy red. Obviously the color of choice for this, for me, actually would have been British Racing Green, or Sage Green, even better, which is my favorite Aston Martin color. Right-hand drive vehicle, fairly well detailed interior. Fortunately, no wood trim, which obviously you would have had some Connolly leather and burl wood in there for sure, being a British vehicle. But one thing I really like about this, look at those wire wheel. I mean, you've got the DB5 badge on the side. You've got the Superleggera on the hood. Superleggera was a way to construct vehicles in the 50s and 60s that included making aluminum and alloy body panels, actually using a thinner gauge of metal to construct the vehicle to save weight, and of course a little bit more work on aerodynamism, hence this fastback type design. So really nice rear details, and the classic Aston grille. I really like this one. And it's a cool color. 138 scale, as you can see here. Kinsmart again. Reason why I picked this one up is because the same day that I picked this one up, I picked up another one that I found went almost perfectly with that classic Aston Martin, basically. I find Aston Martin in recent years, in regards to styling, has been slightly hit and miss. Don't get me wrong, pretty much all their vehicles are beautiful vehicles, including the DBX SUV, which I find is the top 3 for SUV designs currently available on the market. What I mean by that, though, is that I find the more basic coupes are a little bit they tend to look a lot like one another. Same thing for McLarens, basically. So it's not just Aston, but yeah, their supercars tend to look a little bit too similar to one another. And then you fall into vehicles like this. So another Aston Martin, same shade of red as the one we just checked out, But I mean, the Valkyrie, the Vulcan, the Victor that have been released in the last few years. See, more of that residue sticker there. These things are amazing if we're talking about how aggressive they are. You know, the front just looks menacing. That really, really low lip. Side exhaust. You know, you got a big V12 here. Look at that wing. And I mean, the Aston details are well integrated into the rear, honestly. They're very well integrated. This one does not have a license plate, and I'm honestly not going to complain about that, because I'm not sure I'd drive this on the street if I wasn't the owner of one. So, carbon roof. Really, really nice. Opening doors on this one as well. Really tight cockpit. You know, you've got heavily bolstered seats, as you can see. It's really, really nice. Really nice vehicle. I really like it. I also have the Hot Wheels 164 version. A contrasting green. Again, sage green would have been my first color of choice there, but you go with what's available, right? So, can't necessarily always choose. You pretty much have to go with what's available on the pegs at the time of visit. So, all right. So next vehicle that I'm going to showcase here is something that's, I think, a little lesser known. We're talking about the company, the vehicle model, and everything like that. Company out of Germany. Company called Gumpert, or Gumpert, depending on how good your German pronunciation is. And they produce a supercar with a mid-engine V8 from Audi that is completely insane, completely super fast, and I'll let you judge of the looks. I mean, it's love or hate pretty much, this vehicle, but there you go. Gumpert Apollo. Put it a little bit more forward there. There you go. So this is side profile. It's got gull-wing doors. I mean, this thing is literally a track monster. As you can see from the back, there is literally zero rear visibility window or whatnot. Literally, you're 100% dependent on your rear view mirrors to see what's going on in the rear. Obviously, they probably did this because they thought, who the heck's going to pass this bad boy? These vehicles, I mean, they put out between 650 and 850 horsepower, so they're pretty darned powerful and fast. Here's your front view. I like the front view very much. Rear is also very aggressive, but I mean, it's a nice car. Got all kinds of vents on here. No engine cover. It's aggressive wheels. I mean, look at those side skirts. I mean, look at the width of the, and this is pretty representative of what the car proportions are in real life. I mean, the sill is probably, what, 1.5 to 2 feet wide before you actually get to the interior of the car, let alone the seat. So, I mean, this thing is definitely aggressive. Really like this. I love the white and black look. And again, Kinsmart. You see that sticker again. Apollo S or Apollo Sport. This is a 2010 model. This, I believe, yeah, 136 on this one. So we'll put this right here next to the VW. More in front of the VW, actually. Alright, so last European car I'm going to show you today, but definitely not the least, and probably in all my pullbacks of representing European vehicles, this is probably, if I look quick on the table here, probably my favorite. Again, vehicle that will not need any type of introduction. And again, it will be a Kinsmart model. This time in 1/34 scale. Is the McLaren F1 GTR. I'll take this over any modern McLaren any day. Obviously, I mean, a GTR version of this definitely not something that I or probably 99.99999% of the population can actually afford. This is probably a, what, $25 to $30 million car at least, if not more, depending on its pedigree. Nice butterfly doors. Of course, McLaren, chauffeur central driver seating. We've got 3 seats, so front, middle seat for the driver, and technically 2 other seats for the passenger, but in this case, since it's a GTR version, literally you do not have real seats. You can actually see part of the roll cage in here, and the other side as well. Trying to get you a sneak peek of but it pretty much looks just like a seat cutout as opposed to an actual seat like the road version of this car. Classic McLaren rear end. Very nice detailing there. Quad exhaust, all the badging. Inserted lensed rear tail lights. These little side markers and the backup light and the fog light are painted on or tampoed. Front end, pretty much the same thing. Front lights are lensed. You got the McLaren logo in the middle, and the these little indicators and fog lights are actually painted. Very nice detail. Love the fact that the wheels on this thing are really representative to what the real car would have. Yeah, so definitely one of my favorite pullbacks in the collection, and probably, if I look on the table so far, definitely my favorite European one. Next off, how about we go with some American muscle here. American muscle is always something that's fun. So this is a recent pickup as well. Yeah, very, I'd say probably 3-4 months ago, maybe a little bit more. There we go. Dodge Challenger Hellcat Demon Red Eye. This is a little smaller scale. Scale is not indicated on the base, as you can see, but it is a licensed product, so it's RMZ City. RMZ City is part of Motormax. A little bit smaller scale. I'm guesstimating this is probably somewhere around maybe 138, 140, something like that. Wheels are really cool from the side. They are extremely similar to what you'd find on the real car. Got the Demon badge right there. Yep, one of the headlights is blacked out with the ram air, so that's pretty representative of the real thing as well. The detailing on this one is not as good, I find, as the Kinsmart ones, but then again, the scale is actually smaller. And yeah, there is a chip here that I only noticed when I got this model home. I'll touch it up with some Sharpie probably, just to black it out. I mean, we're talking about models that are going to range between $5 and $10, depending on the brand, depending on where you buy them as well, depending if there's a markup. So, again, opening doors. This one, the pullback motor on this one is pretty darn strong. You basically go a 1/16 of a turn, and it'll turn for a while. So, yeah, so a little bit of a letdown on this one is if you look at the wheel setup. Normally, I believe this would be the standard wheel setup that you would actually get on the get-go. But I mean, still, the rears are definitely supposed to be wider than the fronts. And if this is the optional drag setup, then we should have big slicks on the back and skinnies on the front. So neither nor here, because obviously they're exactly the same width. So, you know, and the tread's definitely not the most sporty tread that I've seen on a car. So a little bit of a letdown on that front, but I mean, no big deal. No big deal whatsoever. So zoom out just a little bit here. There we go. Next one that I'm going to show you is actually a Maisto. So this is a Maisto that is going to be in 139 scale. Nothing as, well, to me at least, not as exciting as the Charger, Hellcat, Demon, Red Eye, blah blah blah, but nonetheless a very cool C3 Corvette, late C3 Corvette, probably around 1978. Believe it or not, it's the wheels that got me on this one. The wheels are really, really cool. I love those old school trap wheels. They really look really good for the type of car they're on. Got a little Corvette logo. This one I think is the only one that has no light inserts or tampos, as you can see. Well, it's not super disappointing. I mean, it's not my favorite pullback anyways, but yeah, opening doors on this one as well. You've got some mocked up T-tops, of course, and pop-up headlights. Bottle, Coke bottle shape there. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. One of the last, based on the body details, probably one of the last ones that are that were produced there. If we're talking about that line of Corvettes before the body style change in '83 for the '84 model year. So to the C4. All right, next one. This is actually my second to last pullback purchase that I found in a store that does have a little bit of die cast that does not specialize in it, but it's normally like a bunch of old peg warmers that end up being bought in bulk and sold by them at a fairly decent price. Not a huge rebate, but definitely, you know, the lowest Walmart style prices you'll find. So this is a Weli Trans Am. I've mentioned in the previous video I do prefer the Trans Am to the Camaro, so here we are. This is pretty much my favorite body style for the Trans Am, so right after that first gen. Love the paint. There were like three different paint variations of this. There was the reverse white with the blue detailing, this one, and I believe a red one as well. Red one I didn't care for, and this actually looked better than the white, because the white, if ever I were to pick one up, I don't want that big fire chicken on the hood, or SD455 or whatnot there. So alright, so nice Trans Am badging, you know, with the little vent on the front fender. Fortunately, no painted details for the side repetitors. Chrome bumper, nice rear lens lights, Trans Am and Pontiac on the back. Opening doors. There we go. Shot of the interior. Your base. Oh, pretty cool little model. I'm giving them a whirl at the same time to see if pullback motors still work correctly. So again, these are all in display on my shelves, so you'll have to excuse see a cat hair or some dust. Definitely not the best thing to see, but you know, it cleans up. So next one, picked this up at a grocery store. This is a R35 GTR, obviously. I kind of picked it up for the color. I love this dark blue. It looks really good. Wheels aren't that great, but they are fairly minimally reproduced. Late GTR, like 2017 plus GTR wheels. Correct design. Front end also same. Let me try and get this in the focus a little bit more. So Nissan GTR with the badge, lens headlights, opening doors, nice little interior, nicely bolstered seats. Seems to be a base model. It's not an anniversary or a Nismo or anything like that, but I love GTRs, so pretty much have a GTR in every color, every scale, except for the larger ones. Yeah, it's a nice one. I really like this one. Paint, the metallic is really nice in this one. So, another RMZ City R35 GTR. They don't, as mentioned before, they don't actually scale these, but probably around 140, something like that. Same scale as this one here. A couple more to go, guys. So next one, well, actually last four we have, plus the GTR we just looked at, are all going to be Japanese vehicles. GDM's pretty much my favorite type of vehicle. I prefer them over Euros and domestics, personally. It's just a personal preference. All right, we have here a nice Toyota Celica, last gen Celica. So this is a right-hand drive vehicle, bright yellow. Remember when these came out, everybody went nuts for them. Everybody loved the stylish car when it came out, late 99 as a 2000 model. One of my buddies in high school, he really wanted this as a first car. Didn't end up getting it as a first car, but to this day, I think he still likes this model. So, sorry about that. I'm just removing a few little stains here that I just noticed on the opposite side of where I was looking at. There we go. Much better. Much better. Alright. Defrost lines, wipers, little badging, Toyota Celica. There you go. Another Kinsmart. 134 scale. So one of the larger ones that I have. Definitely on my only yellow pullback, I'm pretty sure. Don't have a huge amount of yellow cars, but yeah, so Toyota Celica. The infamous Lotus developed 2ZZ engine, 4-cylinder high rev, 1.8 liter, 180 horsepower at 400 RPM, which is completely insane, in my opinion at least. Slick 6-speed manual. Same engines used as in the second gen Lotus Esprit. Lotus Elise and Exige, actually. After the first gen gave up the Rover engine, so definitely a good move on your part, Lotus. Lotus still use Toyota engines today. V6 in the Evora, and so on and so forth. Next one that I'm going to show you is actually one that I picked up at the same time as that McLaren GTR that you see on the right side. This would be a GR Supra by Toyota. This is what they call it. Well, they basically brand it as a GT3 model. 136 scale. Again, sorry about the glue residue there. This is residue from the price, the SKU. So yeah, racing concept. That's what they call it basically. And definitely you got a racing interior. You got the roll cage, race seats, tiny squared out steering wheel, which you can't really see a whole lot of there, but it's there. I'm trying to check it on the passenger side, see if we can get a better view of that steering wheel. There you go. There we go. Pretty cool, if you ask me. So, people like to call it BMW Supra and whatnot, but this I found, it's funny because this was released around the same time as the Hot Wheels Liberty Walk mainline Supra dropped. The first release in white also. Found it extremely funny because I probably found those two a week apart. So Gives you a time frame of around where I bought it. And there you go. So really cool. A lot of little race touches. Probably going to add a few little details like blacken out the inside of those vents here, and maybe painting these little canards also black, just to, you know, give even more of a panda look to it, basically. Put that there. Let's see. Next one I'm showing you, still Japanese, but definitely not the same type of vehicle. So basically, we're gonna have here a nice little 2-liter turbo all-wheel drive rally-inspired sedan. So probably people will guess one or two things off the top of their head. If you guessed one, you're either right or wrong. What we have here, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10, or Evo X. Again, right-hand drive. Always cool on a Japanese vehicle to get that right-hand drive. Feels more genuine. Yeah, so nice interior, black steering, gray dash, black seats, opening doors. Nicely done grille. You can actually see the intercooler in there, per the original, you know, the real vehicle. Evo X license plate and the Japanese positioning. Nicely done rear end too, at least in my opinion. It's not bad at all. I mean, these vehicles are, you know, literally slightly widened Lancers, so if we're talking about purely the body with extra venting added, so it's not anything to scream home about. I'd say the downside of this specific one is really just the wheel design. It does not look like the multi-spoke that you'd normally find on the GSR model, and it is definitely not the BBS forged wheel design that's more like a mesh design that you'd find, or the lace design that you'd find on an MR. There's also Kinsmart. There you go. 1/36 scale in blue, red, which is pretty much the official color of Mitsubishi. Last but not least, this is probably one that you either have yourself or you've already seen on displays, or not something that's showcased too often, but definitely a very popular model when it was released. It's another Kinsmart. It's the rally version, the dirty version of the Hawkeye Subaru WRX STI Impreza. 2007 Monte Carlo rally sticker. Peter Solberg's little, all the well, it's actually, what's cool about this is it is a race car and it is a dirty version. It's really just very authentic. I mean, all the licensed sponsors are there. There's nothing invented. You know, Denso, Motul, PIAA, obviously Subaru Technica International. You know, Kenwood, all these people, you know, these real sponsors. So this one's actually left-hand drive, but again, it ran in rallies in Europe, so kind of normal. Look at that roll cage, blue roll cage. Unfortunately, it does have the exact same wheel design as that Lancer Evo I just showed you before. Probably would have put a smaller wheel with a larger tire setup on this, especially since it's full of mud and everything. This looks more like a tarmac setup to me. But I'm not going to complain. Again, these are $5 to $10 cars, right? So if you look at the amount of detail you get, I mean, it's pretty darn good bang for the buck, in my opinion at least. So there you go. Let me know what you think about pullbacks. Do you have any in your collection? What brands do you have? You know, I'll let you go with this little front shot of all these pullbacks that have been accumulated over the past few dozen minutes there. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Like if you like this specific video. And in the comments, again, don't hesitate to make suggestions about content, vehicle makes, diecast brands, you know, showcase of a specific auto manufacturer, specific scale, you know, you name it. I'm more than glad to try and see what I have in my collection that could make video content, you know, that's going to be to a specific person's interest, and probably others too. And yeah, on that, I will wish you an excellent day. And until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.